And my first question was, how does one navigate through the complexity of these various models? So I think your initial answer was, well, you've constructed a model essentially to aggregate and to differentiate between the different models that are out there to understand which ones make more sense for which applications. Am I inferring that correctly?
That's a reasonable inference. What we have basically decided to do, because this is one of those things where you make a decision,
Yeah,
is we split the world into open source and not open source,
meaning proprietary.
proprietary.
Yeah.
There's sort of a halfway house where some parts of the model are open source, but for instance, the weights are not, or the training data is not. So we have one bunch of clients who are only interested in the open source models.
And why
So
would that be?
they don't want their data leaving the premises. And at scale, there is literally no way that you can avoid that happening. And now we can hope that the contractual arrangements with the service providers are such that if you do send your data to the cloud or your queries to the cloud, that they will respect your privacy. But there are literally no guarantees that that's in fact the case. And we have anecdotal evidence that supposedly private corporate data has shown up in training sets.
And so
So,
the way to avoid that is to not do open source, but to use proprietary LLMs.
no, the other way around.
The other way around.
Yes,
That
the
almost
proprietary
seems,
LLMs are the problem because you can't run those in-house. You have to run them via an API,
got it.
right? So when you use the API, you're sending things to the model. Even if you point at in-house data for the RAG applications, it is becoming difficult to be sure that that data doesn't leak out somehow.
And RAG application, I'm sorry, what does that mean?
Retrieval augmented generation
Thank you.
application.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm asking the model, tell me your best guess, but when you've done that, go look at my data and tell me if there's a better answer there. Well, you can do that, but if the compute is running in the cloud, you have basically opened up a pipe into your corporate data that's behind the firewall, but with a pipe through it.
Yeah.
And we have clients who are uncomfortable with that approach. With open source, you can bring everything in-house, you can run it locally. There are performance issues, but you're not trying to serve a million users by and large if you're running
Got it.
running the
I
models
understand.
locally.
So essentially, you're recreating to some degree, the computing power in-house that is available through a proprietary LLM, and you're bringing the open source data down into your presence, if you will, and running it there. And so it's staying there and not going back up to the cloud.
Correct.
Got it. And so then that means that so what are the limitations, instead of me assuming, what are the limitations of that model then?
So
Or of that
the
architecture rather than model? It's probably a better way to say it.
the limit is you're paying for all the compute required to run the model for fine tuning and inference.